I completely get it. You're a very busy professional. Table tennis is a massive hobby of yours, but you're just not able to train more than 2 or 3 times per week. I'm gonna teach you 4 main skill sets that you need to develop. Getting good at these 4 things, even if you're training once a week, you can improve. Hey, I'm Hemming Hu, a 2-time Olympian that represented Australia in table tennis. And if I was in your shoes, beginner or intermediate level again, 20 to 65 years old, training just a few times a week, this is exactly how I would improve way faster. Point and key skill set number 1. You need to be able to spin the ball on your forehand and backhand at a very basic level. Typically around the world, for the most part, we get taught to do this. And we think that there's something magical about going to the head and finishing here, when in reality, what's important about this is getting the wrist brushing the ball like that. So I don't actually care. No one should actually care whether you go here or go here, right? It's about getting this, brushing the ball. Backhand, wrist, brushing the ball and getting more rubber surface area to spin the ball so that you can have safety and arc whenever you hit the shot. Half of the beginners and intermediates watching can do it pretty well, half cannot. For those that cannot, a lot of people think, oh, my backhand and forehand's pretty good. But when I watch them play, they still can't consistently brush the ball, even when they know what ball is incoming. A medium ball at a medium height, they still manage to not spin the ball at least half the time. That's a problem. Being able to spin the ball reliably, it doesn't have to be amazing. Ideally, you're able to do it on backhand and forehand, but forehand at the minimum, because you're going to use your forehand around the court way more than you would on your backhand. If you cannot do that, you're going to run into a host of issues when you get to point number 2. Point number 2 is where you're able to adapt this and this into different shapes and forms as needed. Because in matches, in points, you're going to get varieties of balls coming to you. But it still requires this and this brushing the ball at a core level, but it's a step above, a step more difficult. It's not enough that you're able to do this and this. Whether they make you move left and play, give you a half long ball, whether a ball that's really tight off the end, whether they give you a higher ball, a slower ball, heavy backspin, heavy topspin, no spin, very little backspin, coming faster, slower, coming wide. You have to be able to forehand and backhand topspin in so many different ways, because you're never going to get in a match that same training partner blocking to you at a medium height, at a medium pace. Now, sadly, a lot of people get stuck in this cycle of, I just need to hit the ball better. And I was once there. I thought, okay, if I ever meet the professionals, what's going to be so special about them is how hard they hit in the warm-up. Little did I realize they're hitting forehands and backhands just like I was. Where they were so much better are things like what I'm talking about, adapting. When the ball was in a tighter spot, when the ball changed, they were still able to find a way to make it. And that was really one of the things that separated them and me. And also now, someone like me to you. More to number 2, you also have to be able to read from the opponent the moment they hit it. Is this a slower ball? Is this a faster ball? What variation is this? How am I going to adjust to still be able to make a forehand topspin or backhand topspin on? Clients come to me and say, well, it's always just pressure. When what I see from an educated eye is the ball comes faster, and then they haven't developed the skill of being able to topspin by judging that ball and having 0 backspin. And then in a match, when all you're worried about naturally is safety and getting the ball on the table, they start blocking. And their thought process is, well, in training I topspin, well then any matches I just block. I just can't translate it to match, that's it. When really it's a skill set deficiency. Hey guys, quick one. If you found this video useful to you so far, imagine what we could do together working one-on-one. Every year, I handpick and coach a very small number of students for my Train with an Olympian program, both in Australia and around the world. I work with these students very closely throughout a whole year and turn them from having no idea why they're stuck, thinking that, I just can't perform under pressure, to then achieving the results they want, finally understanding and also beating those players that they struggled with for so long. If you're ready to take your table tennis journey to the next level, simply apply using the link in the description and someone from my team will get in touch with you. This is open to all ages and skill levels, as long as you're serious in taking your game to the next level. Hope to see you soon. Now back to the video. 80-20 rule. You want to be focusing on the 80% that generates match improvement rather than the 20% that doesn't actually contribute to you. You don't have unlimited time. Even if you're 15 years old, that means 80% of your training should actually go toward the start of the point, serving, returning, following up after your serve. Instead of the flashy stuff that people train that looks good, but then you don't really get a chance at a match to actually use it, even if you're good at it. Most people waste time on the 20% that doesn't actually contribute to them getting better. Things like long topspin drills, side-by-side footwork exercises, pretty rallies that don't actually show up when it comes to real matches. That connection between training and matches is one of the most uneducated things outside of the pro level. That is, in fact, the reason that you're not seeing the improvement you want when it comes to pressure time. This is a classic case of if you do what everyone else does, you're going to get the same improvement, same outcomes and results as them as well. Table tennis points are usually over within the first 3 to 5 shots. We see this on an AI screenshot that I put here. Now, in reality, a lot of points, especially the better you get, are actually over before 3 to 5 shots. The better you get, the higher quality of shots the players do. It's much easier to win points by being better and tighter on your serve and third ball as well as your receive. Just because beginners have stats where the rallies last longer, that doesn't mean even if you're a beginner, you should do the same. Again, if you follow what everyone else does, you're gonna get the same outcomes as them. So just because beginners are playing with lower quality shots and the rallies tend to last longer, that doesn't mean that you can't, as a beginner, learn to do the 80% well and actually fly through beginner and intermediate level way faster than everyone else. Number 3, you need to serve low. I don't even care if you don't serve with that much spin, but you need to serve low and you need to know what is on your serve, what spin is on there, so you know what receive is roughly going to come back so that you can dominate the point. You don't have to win the point outright. That would be great if you did, and it does happen pretty frequently when you get good at this stuff. But what you've got to do is you've got to serve, you've got to know what's on the serve, and you've got to be able to strategically dominate, knowing what receives are possibly going to come back. For instance, if I serve topspin, I know that at a non-professional level, it's pretty hard to push that ball. So naturally, the opponent is going to flip, and then I'm going to wait to either topspin with my backhand, from my middle, or from my forehand. And if they push it, it's probably going to go up high, right? Then I have to get ready to swat a high ball. Those are my options. If I serve backspin, it's probably going to come half long or long that they give me a backspin ball. I'm going to lift the next one really heavy. Often I'll win the point straight away, but if I don't, I'm in a very advantageous position. Number 4, you need to return serve, ideally like a beast, but ideally you just need to return serve pretty well. So the thing is, once you learn how to return serve well, once you learn, the first thing you have to do is read 4 properties. What spin it is, the amount of spin, those 2 first and foremost. Then you got to read, okay, where on the table is it, right? Because you're going to play a different receive, whether it's there or there. And then the 4th thing, which you want to see at the same time, is, okay, is it short, is it half long, or is it long? Because that will determine whether you have to come in and play a push or a flip, or you're going to get out and play a topspin. When you get good at judging them and then having an answer to all those, you're going to receive serve well because you've become good at judging those 4 things and having a response to it. Beginners are told you need to work on the basics. Now, why does working on the basics not include learning how to actually serve and return well? It's always bothered me as a coach. It's because receiving serve, very hard to do. And without surprise, most of you guys, all of you guys watching, struggle returning serve well. To serve the ball well is very damn hard. By definition, not many people are going to serve well. Very few people are going to be able to teach it. I mean, it's pretty hard to teach something you don't know yourself, right? Now, backhand and forehand topspin, it's kind of this thing where being able to spin the ball, it's not easy, but teaching someone and doing it yourself, it's not that hard. Right? It's kind of an intermediate level difficulty. Now you get a rush of endorphins and you feel really happy when you can finally topspin, but that can't be the only thing you learn against your friend's block that comes nice, right? And then everything else in the game, it's like, whatever, so be it. I know it looks really, really pretty when you're doing exercises like 2 backhands, 2 forehands, and it's kind of taught what our idea of hard training and correct training should be. Now today I'm telling you that it's not. Right, it's something that will get you sweating and give you the illusion that you're working hard. But really, when it comes to match time, your return of serve, the 4 things we talked about are still gonna suck. And that's why you get disappointing match results. From a very beginner level, you should be working on them becoming proficient, at least decent at those things. If you're playing a game with someone, whether they're an absolute beginner, they're intermediate, and you can't serve and receive at all you can do is this and this, well, you're not going to get the chance to use it. You're never going to be able to set up for it. When someone serves and there's opportunities to do it, you're not going to be able to get in the position, adapt, and actually use it. This is the position a lot of you guys find yourselves in. You topspin, you feel great, and you feel entitled to getting better results, but you never actually get the chance to use it. Pros know if they were to get in a start out of the hand, everyone in the top 1,000 in the world they'd be close to 50-50. Whereas when you start with a serve and receive, right, then it's no longer 50-50. Then you see where people are better and where they're not as good. Here's the thing with the professionals, right? We see them practicing usually before tournaments when they're already a couple days out or maybe a week before the tournament. They're trying to get used to the venue, conditions of the tournament, and they're in mental match mode. Their goal is just to literally adapt to the environment, adapt to the new country, time zone, and perform and just be a monster at winning, right? They're in win mode. What you don't see is behind closed doors. That's when they're doing the 80% and they're doing a lot of making sure their serve is on point, reading of the game's on point. The four things we talked about, right? They're working on those things at least, in fact, I say 80-20, but in fact, they're working on it 90% of the time or more. What we see on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and highlights on YouTube matches is the fancy stuff. The whole, backhand to backhand killer rallies. Even though that's happening the minority of the time, that's the thing that pros show you on their social channels. It's because it's risk-free. At this level where everyone hits backhands and forehands to, more or less the same level, why would they show you themselves practicing point play and more specific stuff? Why would they expose themselves like that to other rivals that are also on the internet when they can post a video of themselves doing 2 backhands, 2 forehands, and having the video be far more attractive to viewers like you, get way more views and comments and likes and traction, and have no risk of exposing any of their weaknesses. Watching what the pros are doing in the warm-up, I don't even like the whole 2-minute warm-up before a match where it's forehands and backhands, because that tells non-professionals who aren't really educated about the game and they're often getting the wrong information. It teaches them mentally that that's the most important thing, when after that 2-minute warm-up, everything starts with a serve and receive. This is, you might say in the comments, well, this is, or this is pro level because they can. It's like, even at beginner level, you should be doing this. All right, so let's conclude these 4 points. So number 1, you need to be able to backhand and forehand topspin at a very basic level. Minimum, backhand block and forehand topspin. Number 2, you need to be able to topspin in all sorts of different scenarios and situations. Number 3, you need to be able to return serve well. Number 4, you need to be able to know what's on your serve, keep the serve low, and know how to attack the next ball based on what serve you've given them. Final thing to remember, points number 1 and number 2 are very important up until a point. A lot of players, so many, get number 1, maybe get number 2, and they keep trying to get better at number 1 and 2, leaving out number 3 and 4. 1, because there's not much access to good help in those areas, and 2, because they don't want to train these boring things, or sometimes they don't know to. But you realize by now, you have to be good at number 3 or 4 to progress from the level that you're at now. If you can do number 1 and 2, but you can't do 3 and 4 well, you're never going to get the chance to use it. And you're always going to think, wow, there's something wrong with me when it comes to matches, when really you're missing these key skill sets. Watching this video until now, you know what the most important things of table tennis are. So I hope this video made complete sense to you guys. Many of my students who also have very busy lifestyles outside of their table tennis have benefited so much from focusing on these points to really elevate their game with very limited time to their training. And I hope this helps you in the exact same way. And finally, if you've ever wanted to know what it's like to train with an Olympian, my coaching applications for 2026 are now open, where I select a very small number of students from all around the world and coach them directly for 1 whole year. If this is something you've always wanted to do, then go fill out the application in the link in the description and someone from my team will reach out to you. I look forward to meeting many of you in the future. Till then, I'll see you guys next time.